I have a question for you. Does your church have a database, an electronic database, and do you use it? My name is Reverend Dr. Beverly Tillman. I'm the senior leader at Greater Harvest Ministries. My team and I support senior pastors, senior leaders, and their members in growing churches. So I'd like to invite you today to this broadcast where I'm going to talk a little about database, but electronic database. Now, there was a time, and some of you may still be doing this, where we used to collect our data in books on pieces of paper all over the place. And then we graduated to Excel spreadsheets. This is great. All of that is great. Whatever you do, make sure you have a database and you are recording it. You're recording your members and you're recording all visitors. Now, with respect to database, anyone who's attempting or is growing a church now should have some kind of an electronic database. You can get them for as inexpensively as $5 a month. I don't know what a $5 a month database does, but then you can move up to $19.95 or $20 a month. And that's a good price to pay. I've seen most of those. They take your church members' information, they can do accounting, they can keep up with your tithes, they do many things. So I would say at least try to start with an electronic database that's going to run you around $19.95 a month. That will be great. Next, what do you do with the database? What kind of information do you keep in the database? First of all, you keep all of your members' information and demographics. When they joined the church, their name, their first name, their last name, their text message, their email address, their address. Make sure you have all that information. Now, our group works with churches that started about 20 members, sometimes less, but about 20 members. And quite often, pastors and senior leaders think that they can keep everything written in a book or by hand. That's true, but think prophetically. You're going to go and you're going to get to be a significant size. And so with that, you should have everyday electronic database. First of all, it keeps you organized. And it keeps your members organized who are doing all of this recording and bookkeeping and accounting. All right. So electronic database is the best way you can go. Okay. So let's talk about the database and visitors. Okay. Visitors come from three places. There are people you already know, people you don't know, and people returning to your church who want to recommit to Jesus Christ. Okay. So now visitors are the ones that you will eventually build your church with as they join. All right. So you want to get the visitors in your database. Most churches only keep members in their database, but find a way where you can also keep the visitors in your database. And you want to have their last name, their first name, their phone number, and their email address. Not necessary to have someone's home address. It really is not. Because in this day and age, people are getting communication by text and by email. So make sure you have that. Okay, let's get to the visitors. Visitors, you want to get in touch with the visitors no later than 4 days after you first meet them. Whether you meet them in your church or on the street, doesn't matter where you meet them. In the store, at the grocery store, wherever. You want to get them in your database. You want to follow up with them no later than 4 days. Why? Because to tell you the truth, people forget where they met you. They forget they even met you. And so the sooner you follow up with them, the more likely they are to be ready to come visit your church next Sunday. Okay. So with visitors, you also, that first month, you also want to follow up with them at least 2 additional times. So that means within the first month of meeting a visitor, you've probably spoken with them at least 3 times. Now, when I say speak with them, let me retract that. I meant touch bases with them. Because if you have their text, you can text them. If you have their email address, you can email them. But I found for growing churches, it's always a feather in your cap when the first time you connect with a visitor is through a phone call. And yes, senior leaders can make that call too. You may scare someone, senior leaders calling me. But let me tell you, they will be so excited to hear from you. There's nothing like the blessing of having a senior leader connect with a visitor. So, also with your database, text message somebody and email people. Whenever you're texting people or getting following up with them, always make sure you ask them if they need prayer or what can you pray for, because people love to have prayer. And even if they don't want prayer, that's okay too. At least you've asked. So now, the next thing I want to encourage you to do is to have each member have their own private database. Okay, let's look at that. They're going to have a database with members in the church, members that they can call frequently to check up on. Hi, how you doing? What's going on? And each member should have their own database of visitors, of people that they met, people they want to invite to the church, and especially their hot list of family members, friends, neighbors that they want to invite to church. So encourage members to have their own private database where they can constantly be calling people, constantly be checking in with people. Now, you don't want your members to get to be a nuisance to people, but every person knows how much calling they can call someone. If you know someone doesn't want to be called frequently, don't call them frequently. Just call them when you're going to have an event at your church. But each member has to decide for themselves how frequently they need to call up with a visitor or someone they're trying to get to come to church. Okay, and that's that. So now let me summarize for you. Make sure you have a database. Gone are the days from the handwritten database. We no longer connect data like this. Next of all, you can have visitor cards. And on the visitors cards, as people come into the church or as you meet people on the street, you want to collect their information, first name, last name, email address, phone number. You want to collect that. And then that will all go into your electronic database. So first thing is you do want to have an electronic database. And they're very inexpensive. As I mentioned, $5 a month one. I have no idea what it does. But the 1995 database is excellent. Please try to get one. And it doesn't matter the size of your church, get the electronic database. Next of all, you want to be sure that you have all your members in your database Next, you want to be sure you have all your visitors in the database. Now, there has to be some way in which you can identify visitors in your database. You're going to have to do that because you want to keep in contact with them by email and by text messaging. And pretty much they can get the same email and text messaging that you send the members. Not always, but quite frequently, they should be on the same hit list as members. So you want to be able to keep up continuously with the visitors that come to your church, and having that electronic database will keep you very, very organized. And then last but not least, encourage each one of your members to keep their own private personal database of church members and people that they're going to eventually want to bring to church, or people they've got their eye on to ask them to come to church to events. So that's that, my friends. To learn more, if you want to learn more about database or about growing churches, you can reach me right here, drtillman360.com, drtillman360.com. And also, when you go on to 360.com, you can reach me by texting, by emails, not by carrier pigeon, because I'm out of that stage. I want the real thing. I want text messaging. I want emails, phone calls. You can also have my private phone call at 360.com. So I look forward from hearing from you, and God bless you. And I will see you the next time. God bless you, my friends.